The following is a transcript between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am, originally recorded on September 10th, 2020, under the constellation Virgo, in the mental week, examining through the knee chakra. Me, having seen the existence of our being as a sea of vibration full of waves that let us see the frequency, it leads me to think that the chakras, those energetic wheels, are like the whirlwinds of the sea, water spouts, where the waves accelerate their vibration, spiraling toward the center and expelling the processed information to the next. I am. It is a way of understanding it. Remember, the fundamental key to understanding this existence are: 1. The universe is a continuum of vibration like an ocean. 2. The water will represent the vibration, which is the space. 3. The waves will represent the frequency, which is time. 4. The vibration wave has a triune aspect, length, amplitude, and frequency. The wavelengths will be the distance between the wave crests. The wave amplitude will be the depth or height of each convex or concave crest. The wave form, frequency, will be the number of times this pattern is played per second. A wave is not only the top, but also the bottom. The down force of the wave is what pushes the next crest by inertia, thus generating waves. Thus, each crest in its ascent and descent is an attribute of the power of the sea. Me. It's like every wave in the sea is a chakra. I am. It is. And in every sea of existence, those waves that vibrate in a certain harmonic trinity with the adequate wavelength, frequency, and amplitude are the ones that allow you to see the waves in the distance, and therefore you call it the material reality. But power is an invisible energy. That is why it is known as the soul. Remember that the word soul in Spanish comes from anima, and in Latin, which gives rise to the words animated and animal, and that is that which moves. The chakras are not things apart from matter. They are precisely the energetic aspect of matter that moves in a certain harmony, capable of manifesting the visible aspect of the physical body. This shows that the chakras are not separate entities, but organs of the same being that deliver energy to each other, that push each other and generate force. In this picture, we can understand that a wave rises upward due to the pressure of the previous one. This allows you to clearly see a wide panorama of the horizon, to become aware of where you are, like someone who rises above the cornfield to see the entire crop. And then, this conscious wave descends with all its power toward the depression of the wave, pushing the next one to rise. This is how positive and negative energy waves are helpful in advancing energy. Me. The crown chakra lights up and then lowers its vibration to deliver the force to the third eye so that it can see everything deeply and wake up. Then its vibration descends to pass this power to the throat chakra, which expands its truth to everyone, and then descends in silence, delivering the strength to the heart that puts itself at loving service, to then return to the self-love toward the internal, delivering the power to the plexus that will extend all its links and networks until it returns inward, lowering its vibration to find the self, the being, delivering the energy to the sacrum, which will begin to create with all that power, until it delivers the product and lowers the vibration so that the root receives the force of the waves, being able to manifest, which, by letting go of what has been manifested, builds the story that makes me advance in the evolution through the knees, which, by becoming past history, gives strength to the feet where I will fulfill my purpose, and so on, The circuit repeats itself over and over again, time after time, from top to bottom, from bottom to top. And when are the water spouts formed? I am. When they start to activate the power centers and the chakras, they become generators of energy instead of just being a reaction. Me. This is to say that in life, normally, the energy centers work by reaction and inertia, by the forces that move us, but when we begin to become full and conscious, the negative and positive currents become whirlwinds, creating a force energy of the chakras like the water spout in the sea that drive the waves, absorbing the information from the previous one and generating its own energy, expelling power toward the next. I am. It can be said that in an unconscious plane, the chakras are not chakras because they do not have the shape of wheels, but of waves in the middle of a sea, with no force of their own other than that which they receive from others. When one becomes conscious, he generates his own force, and the negative and positive forces cease to be a seesaw and become a force-generating spiral. But neither of the two movements is bad or good. They are simply different ways in which the sea expresses itself. Me. Sure, so it's not that we all have to be 100% with our chakras spinning constantly, but both functions are useful. Recognizing that the waves with their ups and downs help us to see that we are part of a whole, and therefore we must find the balance in that whole, receiving and delivering energy in the waves of life. While there are times that we must be self-sufficient and generate power to create a new movement, tune, create other directions, and nurture the waves of the new currents, and thus we generate water spouts, which are 100% active chakras. I am, and those water spouts are not eternal. They last for a period until they have managed to change the current, starting a new step, a new path to align with what was generated from oneself. Me, I understand, that is, they are motors. I am. They are like the wheel of the train. What is the point in spinning forever if I can't get off at any station? Me, makes sense. There are transports of energy, not destinations. I am. They are the powers that awaken attributes for your path. Each one delivers something different, a unique and special fuel to move forward, giving you strengths and showing you your weaknesses, and both move you. When you recognize this mechanism and embrace your strengths and weaknesses, you allow yourself to feel depression not as a fall, but as a hibernation process like plants and animals. From the point of view of one who seeks constant happiness, winter may seem sad, depressing, uncomfortable. But the truth is that without winter, plants would not be able to recover their strength to bloom in spring. Me. And what would prevent me from advancing in this process? I am many things, but systematically what stops them is to spin on themselves. Create a circular and closed current with no outlet. Me, like those that are created in the Pacific Ocean that drag garbage, creating an island of waste. I am. And when those currents occur, less experienced sailors can become trapped and lose themselves at sea and fall into the traps of closed currents, middens of the sea. As you will see, everything that is loose, what is discarded by the fluid energy of the sea, is trapped by these energy centers where things stagnate and repeat themselves. Me, it is the same chakra that has closed in on its own history. I am, therefore, it is the ideas of history that prevent us from advancing in harmony in this circuit of ocean attributes. Me, the path that we had traced throughout history becomes an energy cancel. I am. The facts and circumstances of the history of each individual are the waves that move their lives. If certain events have generated a weight, a karma, something that I cannot get out of, stop thinking about it, let go of, and that I drag into my present, they will generate a closed circuit in which potentialities have become waste, and that garbage circulates again and again, and I keep it aloft for fear of letting it go. Me. They would be those things that have happened to us in life that we have not been able to face, assimilate, or take what is necessary and move on. And that, on the contrary, are still as present in our lives as if they were happening right now, pushing us back, preventing us from getting out of this vicious cycle. I am. The past becomes a vice and does not allow you to move forward on your path. Me. Why is this happening? I am. By the waves of attributes. Remember that we come from the root chakra, where your waves are made up of what you have awakened in you as weaknesses and strengths. The strengths push the rest of the waves forward, but when you refuse to fall back, the same counterforce of always wanting to stay in the positive attributes cause the whole to lose strength, and instead of generating a balanced depression, the same rushes towards the abyssal bottom of the ocean. This generates the opposite reaction to what is expected, breaking the wave circuit and turning the sea into a flat lake like a mirror. Without movement, ships do not advance, but those lower forces and depressions move in the cold waters of the deep, creating closed currents, causing the waste. Instead of being distributed by the sea, to accumulate in one place. On the one hand, this is negative because it does not allow you to move forward, and on the other hand, it is positive because it allows you to see all of your accumulated conflicts in one place so you can work better with them. Me. So I have to analyze those residual groups of stagnant information, usually related to the facts that keep me feeling and thinking about the past, and phrases like, I should have done something else, what could have been if, I would have acted differently, my life would have been different, all these conditions. I am. But at the same time, you have to recognize those circuits that you have managed to get out of, because they will show you how you've done it. And that can get you out of it. Make your list and call it stories, and write down in one column those things that have allowed you to move forward, and in the other column, what keeps you going back. Me. I made my list, and I could notice something that caught my attention. Everything that has been a burden that I consider the most painful or heavy in my history is precisely what has allowed me to move forward in life, and what I considered positive in my memories is precisely what I continue to suffer from. For example, the death of my grandmother, the loss of a part of my family, the separation of certain friends, even from another life, being Sigurd 900 years ago, having lost faith and suffered everything I suffered. I noticed that all of this, it has liberated me a lot, and it has allowed me to be free, to move forward, to grow, to live more in my present. And yet, all that I feel for the lost love in Switzerland in 2018, and my life as Xiu, with his mission from 12,000 years ago, both being things that I love and make me feel good, they are the ones that are still present in me and that represent what does not let me move on until I finish with their cycles. Why is this? That what I believe is good for me is what does not let me move forward. I am. Because you cling to how beautiful it was and the greatness of what could have been, to the illusion of utopia. And you keep hoping that one day you can live these circumstances again, and what pulls us back into the past is not always what weighs us down with pain and anguish. Every time, instead of moving forward, we get stuck on ideas of what was. Without judgment, therefore, without considering that has something bad or good, write down what keeps you living in the past and what makes you advance to the future, and recognize that no one advances with both feet at the same time, 1 foot at a time. While one advances, the other supports the force behind so that the body does not collapse. So you can understand that many times lifting your foot to move forward means having detached yourself from certain circumstances in order to get ahead. But that moment is one of weakness until you can once again put your foot on the ground and affirm yourself in the new place of safety. Meanwhile, the one foot anchored is in the past, and it is the one that supports the whole being that advances. And in this way, you can understand that they all work, that it is always good to have a foothold on the past to build the future. Therefore, recognize them, and thus you will know what your firmness is in the path of life. This removes a lot of weight because it distributes it. Be free, one step at a time.